Good morning, everyone present here, and today you will be dealing about unilateral and bilateral. Before that, I'll give you some recap about the contract, agreement, and what you will discuss about the past times. So the thing is, what do you mean by contract? Contract is actually an agreement which is enforceable by law. Next, an agreement. What is mean by an agreement? Agreement is simply means it is a set of promise given to a whom, and that promise should be accepted by the those who given, and that is known as an agreement. Forming consideration for each other. It is a set of promise and or a promise or set of promise. Forming consideration for each other is known as agreement. And you have learned about executory contract that we'll be discussing. So let's learn about executory contract. Executory are those where the obligations of both parties are outstanding. So that type of is known as executory contract that I have already discussed about you, and I given the example in the previous classes, I think. So next you will be discussing about unilateral contract or one-sided contract or bilateral contract. Unilateral contract. What do you mean by unilateral contract? A contract is said to be unilateral where one party has performed its obligation either before his when the contract comes into existence. Only the one unilateral means one. Only one party has performed. Other parties yet to be performed. So name suggests there is one-sided contract. A unilateral contract is also known as one-sided contract. It usually comes up into existence. One party makes a promise. It comes into existence when only the one party comes a promise. It is open and available to anyone who wishes to or fulfill settle the promise. Only once, and it is open to the who makes fulfill the promise. Contract will only be fulfilled once someone fulfills the promise. Alex lost his bag on this metro, so he decided to announce the reward of rupees 1,000 to anyone who finds it back. Here only the one party to the contract, namely Alex. If someone finds and returns back, he is obligated to pay the reward. This is unilateral. That I have already mentioned, that is Alex. He lost his bag and he decided to announce a reward. Who found it? So yeah, and here this the only one party is liable in this contract. That is namely Alex. He have to. He had someone finds and he have to. He say the contract and he have to return about the contract. This both parties are one-sided. Only want to have to perform. Okay. Next is bilateral contract. Next one, bilateral contract. Bilateral contract, it has two parties. It is traditionally types of contract most commonly known and occurring. Both parties agree that the terms of agreement and thus enter into contract. Hence, it is a reciprocal contract. The obligation of the both parties are outstanding. Not there we said one party here. The both parties are perform pending on the both sides. Next one, bilateral. Both parties are usually agreed to carry out the contract. Say, if a contract of sale of the buyer pays down the payment, agrees to pay the balance at a future date. Seller gives possession of the house to the buyer and agrees to deliver against a specified price. This is known as bilateral. Both agreed to the bilateral contract. Both agreed to frame out the contract. Example, the contract of sale of house. The buyer pays a down amount and agrees to pay the balance of the future days, and seller agrees. The both parties, it is not seller don't sell, also buyer don't buy it. So the both parties are still outstanding. That is known as bilateral contract. So today's class is over. We will discuss more about the future classes. Thank you.